Greetings, every fellow hikers. This is Ranger Fanboy, and I'm here on a beautiful, foggy day in the Great Smoky Mountains, about to hike a small section, very small section compared to the 2,100 miles, that is the Appalachian Trail, to go to Silar's Bald in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. In the background, you can just make out the Chimney Tops tower. It's above my head, hence why I'm doing this. And I'm going to now go on the Appalachian Trail, which is going to start right about there. There's a sign right there. There you can see it. I'm going to zoom in for your convenience. We're looking at the back of it, obviously. But we shall begin our descent. After all, Clingman's Dome is the highest point in the park. And we are going... I think it's going to be... it should clear up by the time I'm there. Here's hoping. Well, I am now on the Appalachian Trail officially. See, there's a white marking, always congruent with the AT. Oh, look, and there's another one. You know, Bill Bryson once wrote in his book, A Walk in the Woods, that it's almost a miracle anyone could get lost on the AT, because oftentimes it is the only thing between you and the forest, and when there's a crossroads, you will never find a better marked signage. It's kind of wet right now, but hey... Hey, it's been raining a lot, so what can you expect? Ah, such beautiful undergrowth. One of the good parts about this is that I don't have to deal with too many bugs right now. And, it's gonna be a beautiful hike, I dare say. Hey, I left my map in the car, but I spoke with the volunteer over at the information desk, so I know where I'm going, and I've studied the maps thoroughly. Working for GSMA myself, I'm quite familiar with them. So, everything's going to be just fine. And I can always turn back around and try another day if necessary. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to make it to Silar's Bald, and by then, the skies will be clear. Such a beautiful forest. So there's ice on the trail. Well, it was about a little better than 50... Not much better than 50 degrees this morning. Temperature hasn't exactly picked up much. Gotta be very careful where I step. Good news is I'm not sweating too much, which would actually cause me to cool down too much. And unfortunately, there's not much really to look at, so the fact that it's still raining and cloudy doesn't make the view problem too big of a hassle. I'm going to start recording because unfortunately I'm in an area where I have to have my wits about me. Ah, there it is. I was worried for a moment that my camera wouldn't pick up the mountains on this first view that I actually have. It's not perfect, but hey, I still think the Great Smoky Mountains give us a great view. Unfortunately, it's a little hazy, but that's okay. It's been a little bit since my last entry. I've met a nice fellow hiker. I don't know if he wants to be on camera right now.
Doesn't matter.
But evidently, I was going in the wrong direction for about half a mile. This guy practically saved my life and pointed me in the right way, so we're going to hike together.
That's right. At least up to Silar's Bald.
Hope. And now I know for sure I'm in the right direction, so... Hey, I'm getting an extra mile in, so no big deal. Training for that mountain man march, so I need as much exercise as I can.
I guess this is where the trail goes. This is the bypass trail, this is the real trail.
Yeah, that is the bypass trail. It says right down there. That is the real trail where we were just on.
Alright, thank you.
Just helping a fellow hiker. Well, they have the decency of telling you where the shelters are and where their trails are. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the decency to tell you certain sites. But luckily, if I zoom in right about here, you can just make out the iconic white mark on that rock that marks the AT. another good section of the trail. Unfortunately, I'm not going to show my face because it's a little rocky about here, but I just thought the foliage overhead was really worth the view. And, you know, we're just walking. One of the great things about the Appalachian Trail is how well it's maintained. You know, volunteers come out here clearing up branches and fallen trees from the trail so that the hikers can go by without, you know, getting into too much trouble. And, well, let's just say God bless this trail and the people who help to support it. So, me and my companion, Frank, have stopped for a quick snack over at this shelter. I'm now going to turn the camera over so you can see. I'm currently standing under it, but this is what a lot of thru hikers do, so long as they have a permit. Unfortunately, too many of them often write graffiti on the shelter, and this camera is clearly not picking that up from way over. Oh, there it is. It's a really horrible thing that they do. I mean, that. Oh, they you have one of these notepads. See, that is what it's for. If you want to log in what you're doing, you do it on the notepad. In fact, I'm probably going to do that shortly after I'm here. Somebody forgot a Chipotle hat. I'm now going to go back outside. Somebody is evidently camping on the trail in their own tent. There's Frank again. I've been told that I'm not too far from my destination. I'll be continuing up that way. And it should be clear by the time we get there. The sun's already breaking out, and well, we'll see what happens. Been a rather narrow trail. Earlier it got covered with dead leaves. Felt a bit of a spongy layer. Probably better than mud, which is mostly what we're going through now. For some reason I almost feel like singing on the horse with no name, but this is nowhere near close to be a desert, so that wouldn't apply. Hello, friend.
Good old Neil Young reference. Nicely done.
Yeah. So are you through hiking the trail?
Perhaps.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir. At this point, I think I do. Yeah. Much mud, not enough everything else.
Yeah. There's actually a little. If you go further up the trail, there's a good bit of leaf bedding. You know, it feels more like a sponge on your feet.
Well, it's better than the mud, I guess.
It is better than the mud. Well. These are some really big mushrooms on this particular tree. Unfortunately, I can't identify what kind of fungus it is, although there's probably a volunteer or some horticulturist who's watching this video who could probably identify that for me. But it just seemed like a worthwhile thing to shoot. Once again, we're in a narrow part of the trail. Yeah, it's really amazing how anyone can get lost on this. I mean, you just look for where everything's been trampled because the area surrounding you is still wild growth.
Recording.
Alright. Well, thankfully my friend Frank has one of those apps that tells him where he is on the AT. And so evidently I am now sitting on the top of Silar's Bald. Granted, the trees around me don't provide much for the panoramic, but you know what? I'm glad I did this hike. It got difficult, you know, with the mud and, you know, the slippery ice, but this was a great hike. If you feel like you could bring Boy Scouts here, that might be good. Definitely not for kids. I've even met a couple of thru hikers while going on this, so that's always a lot of fun. It's amazing how the AT brings so many people together. And, but yeah, I'm going to move over so you can see the arrows real quick. That actually help to guide where the AT is, going in that direction and that direction where we just came from. Well, I'm glad I got this opportunity, and the sun's coming out now, so that's nice. This is Ranger Fanboy, signing off.